Facebook is live.
Hey, oh, wait. Happy Halloween, everyone. I think you have a buddy that needs help. Hi, everyone. Hey, YouTubers. Hey, Facebook friends. Glad everyone could be here. It's almost Halloween, everyone. All right. We're going to wait for everyone to kind of get started here. And I'm going to make sure, you know what I did not do is make sure that I have everything running right here. So glad that everyone's here. Okay, we are waiting for, we have Margie, she's putting kiddo to bed, so we're kind of just waiting for everyone to get in here. Hey, Felicia. We're waiting for everyone to get in here before we get started. Everyone's kind of perusing in, slowly coming in. Glad that you guys are here. So I'm trying to get everything just kind of started up here. So if you guys could hit wow if you are glad to be here. Hit the wow button. Hit it like lots. And I'm going to get us set up on YouTube over here. Our YouTube friends are wanting to come in. We're going to talk about Halloween today, guys. Does everyone hey, hit the heart button if you are jealous of my Charmander outfit, and hit the laugh button if you would never be caught dead in this as a Halloween costume. Okay, let's see here. We are trying to get, Patty is going to be joining us today, and it looks like we're trying to add her. Hey, there she is. Hey, Patty.
Hi.
Hey, we can hear you loud and clear. Fantastic. How you doing?
Good. Good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I'm trying to get my Halloween on.
Oh, I see.
I see too. Let's see. Charmander. Janice says that Charmander is her favorite. So I just said before you got on there, if hit the heart buttons a lot, you guys, if you would wear this outfit for Halloween, and hit the laugh button if you wouldn't be caught dead in it. Hey, Zan's on. Glad to see you, Zan. I'm gonna let you take over for a little bit so I can get this set up over here. Oh, I haven't done our whole small talk and fine print and stuff like that. People don't even know what they're watching right now.
All right, so this is the Transfiguring Adoption Monday Caregiver Check-In. This is just a time where caregivers, professionals, interested folks, former foster youth, adult adoptees, volunteers, everybody just comes together and just checks in. So we talk about whatever anybody wants to talk about. It's time to ask questions, give advice. We are not replacing legal or medical and all that jazz. So
don't sue us. Don't sue us.
We don't have any money.
We don't have any money. So glad everyone could be here. Is everyone excited about who? I want to know. I guess the next thing I want to see you guys hitting is hit the wow button if you will be going trick-or-treating with your kids or going to a Halloween party or something like that, or hit the heart button if Halloween's not really your thing and you can't wait for Thanksgiving to come. I want to see who is excited about that. And while we have people, because Patty, I'll tell you, there is a lag sometimes that comes in with this. So we'll be whoa, thanks for all the wows, you guys, for everyone that's doing stuff. So sometimes when we ask questions, it takes people a little while to catch up. But just so you guys know, the way the Caregiver Check-In works is we're going to start off with a topic with the lovely Patty this week. And we'll start it off, but if there's something you guys want to talk about more, if there's something more exciting or there's some advice that you want to share with everyone or a question, go ahead and leave that in the comments. We are on YouTube Live every week, and we're on Facebook Live also. So go ahead and do that, and we will get to that. So right now, can everyone do me a favor and hit share on, a lot of people are watching on Facebook. Can you guys share that you are watching this to your profiles so that we can get more conversation going? We always get more people when everyone shares out that they're watching, and more people jump in. And we've actually had some great conversations getting people connected in their states so that they can find support and connections. So appreciate it, you guys. Looks like everyone's kind of getting in here, though. So it's Halloween, you guys. People are going to be trick-or-treating. I saw some wow faces go up there, so there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be out trick-or-treating. Would love to hear what you guys' costumes or kids' costumes are going to be. I am wearing this for right now. It's too hot. This is like a Tennessee. We're in Orlando. There's no way I'm wearing this for it's cooler down here right now, but there's no way. It's a onesie. But hey, Christina. Patty, can you introduce yourself so that people kind of know who you are and your background? I will say Patty is one of our ALP squad leaders. You guys hear about us talk about ALP squad leaders that are volunteer mobilization that help out foster and adoptive families. But Patty is also a professional in the industry, and I would love for you to tell kind of your background.
Okay. So I am a therapist. I work for several different agencies that are in the Tampa Bay area. I am adoption competent. All of the children that I work with are either pre-adoption, post-adoption, or are in child welfare. I even work with some adults that have been adopted or have given up their children for adoption. So I've worked in almost every single part of child welfare as either a group home staff, a case manager, a guardian ad litem, a post-adoption specialist. If it's a job within Tampa Bay area, I've probably already done it.
That's fantastic. Okay. Well, fantastic. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to go ahead and we want to talk about food issues, because I know we've talked about that before here, but I feel like it takes a different kind of turn because we are talking about Halloween and we are talking about candy and various things like that that are going to be happening. I know that kids have food hoarding issues. They have fears of not having enough food. There's just going to be all sorts of different food issues kind of paired with the fact that it is a holiday. And kids tend to anyone, you start to think about home and get nostalgic around a holiday. And so let's talk about that. What do you guys, is everyone excited about Halloween? And do you have food issues in your home that you're concerned about? And while we're waiting for people to catch up with that, Patty, do you ever talk with people when you're doing therapy sessions about kiddos that have food problems or food issues?
Yeah, so almost all of my children that have been adopted have some sort of food issue. There are varying amounts. I have some children that absolutely hoard food without eating it. I have other children who will binge eat until they vomit. And I have some that are just extremely picky and will only eat.
Oh, she froze up on us. Oh no. Unfortunate. Hopefully she'll catch back up with us here. So we have heard a lot of that too, where we've actually had kiddos in our home where they've not only been picky eaters, but they've gone the other mile where they eat and eat and eat until they make themselves more. So we've unfortunately seen that. Has anyone experienced food issues in their home, and what do you think is causing them? Margie, what would you say causes some of food issues?
Sorry. I can't right now. Sorry, I get kids handing me stuff.
Okay, so let's see here if I can get up. I'm going to see if I can try to get Patty back on here. We'll see if she can get connected again. But I know kids that they've had. Felicia says we did not even fight food. Kids are allowed to have. Oh, let me see if it cut off. Felicia's saying we did not even fight food. Kids are allowed to have it in the room so long as they keep it in a plastic shoebox tote thing. In the past, the tote has migrated to the dining room table and then into the pantry, and it's fair game whenever, and we offer to restock it. That's actually a good idea. I've actually had, we've had actually Sarah, who was the equine therapist or equine specialist, on last week. She actually suggested that for some of our kiddos that are having food issues. Just simply that, I think the big concern with parents is not looking outside the box, so to speak, is that we're worried about bugs and a mess and different things that food in a bedroom will cause. And so you might need to help. Sorry, we have a kiddo that's getting up. Talking about issues, we have a kiddo that's not settling down for bed, so we're up and down. But we have, she told us, like a lot of issues that parents have are that they are just worried about the mess or the bugs or the different things like that. So why not keep it in a plastic shoebox where bugs can't get to it in a Tupperware? And she said, sometimes what happens then too is even like Felicia's talking about, like it might migrate back to the dining room table because it's not a big deal anymore. It's something in their control. But the other thing is it's just that felt safety that if I had to get into this stash of food, it's there and I don't have to worry about it. So I think that's a really great idea, Felicia. Like, did you guys just come up with that on your own, or? Okay. Let's see. Did you just think of that on your own, or did something else, like, did someone suggest that to you? How did you think of that? I think it's important to roll with the punches with food because I think it's a big thing. Like, I think food issues are a really, really big thing, and they're a tough animal to battle. Yeah. What do you guys think? I'm trying to get Patty back on.
Okay.
Or can you get her back on, and I'll talk.
I'm not sure how.
All right. Well.
I know a lot of times that just like having that, it's just a safety net, just to know that it's like a feeling of safety, like knowing that it's there and it's okay. So for a lot of kids, just even having it makes a big impact.
And I think fear drives a lot of what I know you were talking about, we've already talked about like fear triggers, like triggers of fear, but food so much is fear, right? Like, what do you guys think? Like, why are there food issues? See, when I was thinking about, let's talk about Halloween and different things, like candy and stuff like that, and the food hoarding issues. One of the things that I think about is that the candy really, well, you can probably explain it better. Well, actually, hey, Patty's back.
Hi.
You guys can probably explain it better than I can. But doesn't like sugary candies and stuff like that, won't that release happy chemicals like endorphins and different things like that in kiddos' brains? And so like around Halloween time, I would think like kiddos would want to hoard candy more in their room, because man, if I'm down and I'm thinking about home and I'm not at home because I'm in some foster home, man, just shacking up with a big old tub of candy, you'd really get the endorphins going, right? But Patty, what were you saying about, like, what are some that you were talking about? You have picky eaters and you have different kiddos that deal with different issues.
Yeah, so I have kids who will mix things together that make no sense, like Vienna sausages and Pop-Tarts. And that's like all they will eat. And I have other kids that will only eat.
Can't do that one.
Yeah, I have other kids that will only eat food if it's from a gas station.
Wow.
Because that's all they had as children growing up. Yeah. So, I mean, I've seen it across the spectrum. And it's really tough for adoptive parents because, they're providing this really healthy, nutritious meal for this child and they're denying it, and it kind of feels personal. And it's really hard to understand that it's not the adopted child denying you. It's just that's not the food that they want.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Or that they're used to. I mean, we had some that,
yeah,
if it didn't, like similar to the gas station, if it didn't come out of a can, they wouldn't
right.
eat it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so weird because you're sitting there thinking canned vegetables, like you're sitting there thinking, but we just bought like a bunch of good like fresh vegetables and like it's better for you than the canned, and they weren't used to it, so it didn't. It's just weird because I think we forget too that there's comfort foods that we have that remind you of home and remind you of different things. Golly, I was even thinking there was one, they were talking about a study on the radio today saying that if you smell roses while you're sleeping, that you will get better night's sleep and you will have better dreams. And it's because your sense of smell is so significant to your memories and to your sleep and everything else that what you're smelling at night determines like the quality of sleep and your dreams, and it determines a lot. But I can only imagine, like, because smell is a big part of tasting food, so that has to be like a huge thing too, like the way the food smells and feels and tastes and everything else. It's really it's a huge deal. Like, it's bigger than what we would want to think it is. But food really.
Yeah, and I always recommend let the child have some sort of control over the food. Like, let them pick out some things when they go grocery shopping and let them help you cook it. Not only is that a bonding experience, but it also teaches you a little bit about what their preferences are, and they might be more open to trying new things if you allow them to make those choices.
So what would you guys, I want to hear from everyone else. What do you guys think? Like Felicia, I'm here. Okay, well, Felicia also said on Facebook, she's saying it was her idea with putting the food in containers in the rooms was a collaborative effort with trial and error over the course of a couple of kiddos hearing stories of their concerns about whether or not they would make it to Dunkin' Donuts dumpster on Wednesday night to get the good food, or whether they would be locked in their rooms and not have food accessible to them. Water bottles were a big deal. Yeah, that is a huge deal, I would think, like having water bottles especially. Yeah, so I can see that there would be two camps of parents right now. I could see, and what does everyone else think? I could see, and what are you? I guess
Water
hit
bottles were
the
yeah.
smile button, hit the wow button if you're in the camp where you want your kids to have a healthy meal before you go trick-or-treating and they get like 2 pieces of candy or something like that when they get back home. Or hit the heart button if you're in the camp where you're like, they don't even know, like, maybe we'll have a slice of pizza, or maybe we'll have dinner and we'll just let them pig out in candy all night until they pass out from a sugar rush. Like, which camp are you guys in? I want to know which camp you're in. So, look at those hearts going up. There we go. Candy Stupor. Hey, Amanda. Glad to see you. And I see Dusty and Bryant on here also. Thanks, you guys. So, what do you think, Patty? What's your feelings on that? And I want to hear Margie, too. What are your feelings on all that? On the different camps and dealing with our kiddos from trauma?
I think that you really just need to know your child and know what would be the best option for them. A lot of times, like when you let the kids binge on candy, normally I'd be okay, but then they're going to have a sugar crash. And when they have that crash, I always feel that it leads to an increase in behaviors. So I always feel that it's appropriate to limit them, but give them choices. So you can say, you can have 5 pieces of candy today, or you can have this many tomorrow, to let them have some of that control and choice back. Sorry, my cat's being ridiculous.
It's fun because I just see the tail. It's super cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
Brittany.
Felicia says holidays are fair game and some of the trunk or treats serve hot dogs. So with what kind of between what Felicia's saying and what Patty's saying, I always planned that we would hit a trunk or treat or something where they had hot dogs. Like we would hit some that had hot dogs and lemonade and chips and stuff. And so that hot dog provided a little bit of protein, and that kind of was like the go fuel and some of the like the blood sugar stabilizer to kind of kick off the night. And it was something, we were already on the go, but it didn't take a long time. We've done, I think one year Sonic had 50-cent hot corn dogs or something, so we did that as we were heading out, and that helped.
Brittany on Facebook says that her 4-year-old at first would eat until he was sick no matter how much he was given, We set up a visual schedule for meals and snacks with times and make sure food is always available. We also plan a weekly menu with him and show him every week. His food issues came from being homeless and going long periods. Oh, I missed it.
Of no eating. For a long time, he would only eat what came from the gas station. For Halloween, we have a bowl. We pour all the candy in, and he is allowed 2 a day. That's about what we do. I think we do a little bit more like Halloween night, but then after that, it's kind of, there's a number each night. Dusty says chili and carving pumpkins and candy. Miranda says video isn't working. My adopted daughter is always hungry. I was told to not tell her no when it comes to food because she feels like I'm saying no to her and not able to meet her needs. So she says she is hungry and I offer an apple or some other healthy choice. I have not said no, but I have not given full control to her junk cravings. In time, it is supposed to help her see I will meet her needs just in a healthy way.
And I'm going to share this one, and I want to hear from the whole group on this one. But I'd love to hear from Patty and Margie as well on this. Miranda is saying, well, first of all, she said the video isn't working. I hope the video is working. Can you guys give us a bunch of thumbs up? Can you hit the thumbs up button if the video is working right now? We were having a little issues getting into the groove. But let me go ahead and share this out. Miranda says that, huh? Oh, you did this one?
Yeah.
Oh. I totally didn't hear it. Okay, the video looks like it's working because we're getting thumbs up. Thanks, you guys. Okay. Okay, good. I'm glad Miranda's back. Okay. And Felicia's saying, did you read that one? She was joking. She's saying, I'm possibly the horrible parent because she lets the kiddos go for it. But you know what? I think we let our kiddos go for it more during Halloween and different holidays than we ever would. Like, we don't pay attention to it as much because it is like we're still having fun. I think it's what you, and Patty, what do you think? Is it what you can handle and what you know you can get your kids through? Like, there isn't a hard set, like, formula, like, this is what you do on Halloween. Like, you give them 2 pieces of candy every night or anything.
I mean, you can't really go wrong either way. It's just if a child gorges on the candy, they're going to get sick. Which for some kids, that'll be a deterrent in the future. For other kids, it'll just make their blood sugar crash, and then you have to deal with that. So you kind of have to know your kid and weigh the options. But I don't think that someone's a horrible parent because they let their kid have all the Halloween candy that they want.
Right. And I mean, because
in general, depending on the kid, some kids will cut themselves off and they'll stop because they'll, but I mean, we've had certain things, like we have one child that for, 9.5 years was never allowed to have caffeine because the child had caffeine once at a picnic with a soda, and it wasn't the high that was the problem. It was the crash that you were talking about. We're talking like screaming, crying for hours, and it was sugar itself wouldn't do that, but if you had caffeine, and so there's lots of times you were talking about trunk or treats where they have hot dogs and stuff like that. Sometimes they would have cans of soda, or like, oh no, it's Sprite or root beer, but having to watch, and even some root beers have caffeine. So we had to be really careful because we knew this one child, caffeine, it was the crash that just kind of, it was crazy for hours afterwards.
And let me break in again. We have so many people that are joining in and watching and commenting. Thank you so much, you guys. And again, the ground rules are that you guys can share any comments, any suggestions, or any, because there are people on here that are just getting started on their foster care adoptive journey, and so they need any advice that you can give. And there is no question that we're not going to try to field, because there are a lot of people that are just starting their foster care or adoptive journey, and they need everyone to ask questions. But go ahead and hit the share button if you're watching on Facebook, so that we can go ahead and get as many people in here talking as possible, because we get the best advice. And thank you to those that are subscribing to our e-newsletter. I can see those messages coming over right now. Miranda says that they give 5 pieces a day in the morning, 5 pieces of candy a day in the morning to eat at any point in the day. When it's gone, it's gone. That's a natural consequence, I think. Like, hey, here's what you got.
It's like Patty said, it's a control thing. Like, they can control when they have it, and they get to choose. Choice and control really helps our kiddos a lot.
I think sometimes I feel like it comes down to okay, if you know it's going to be a battle where your kiddo is going to hoard, or they're going to, like, it's going to become this big thing where they sneak down in the middle of the night and they're going to, like, break some house rules to get the candy and, like, get, like, I feel like you have to figure out, like, okay, should we just let them, like, if we can handle it, like, should we just let them go for it? As opposed to, we know later on it's going to be a big deal and it's going to hurt our relationship and it's going to be a big argument when it doesn't have to be. I don't know. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but I just like, I guess I'm saying sometimes I feel like we have to weigh our battles a little bit more because we're parenting different than, I guess, a typical soccer mom or dad.
Yeah. I mean, as adopted parents, I feel that, you know, you have to decide, is this the hill that I want to die on? Is Halloween
Yes,
candy
I
really
love
that
that.
big of a deal? You know, you really have to weigh it.
Someone is needle pointing that on a pillow right now and get it to all of us. Do I really want to die
Yeah.
on this hill? That is awesome. Felicia says that she's been lucky because every kid we've had at Halloween has been so shocked that we've told them to dig in that they limit themselves. I wonder if they feel like they're going to get in trouble. They're like, really? Like, when's the bear trap really going to clamp around my leg? Like, I'm going to stop now because I don't trust that you guys are legit on this. That's funny too. Like, I think keeping kids on their toes is always a fun. I like keeping them on their toes. So, yeah, what is some other ones that we have here?
So Dusty said, I did respite for 2 toddlers this past Friday, and they were the pickiest eaters. I finally gave up and did McDonald's. Even that was a picky thing, but not a battle time, just encouragement. And then she said, and God bless anyone who fosters toddlers. Give me teens any day.
That is amazing. So, so what would you say then, both of you guys? So I imagine, and we've had issues with kiddos. You know, you go and, especially after Halloween, you find the candy wrappers everywhere in a bedroom. Like, they're hidden, they've been shoved under places. How, I guess, if you're parenting teens right now or older kids that they're going to hoard food, that's that's going to be an issue. How do you set yourself up for success coming up to Halloween, knowing that it's probably going to be an issue? You're probably going to find Hershey bars melted to the carpet, like underneath the bed somewhere. How do you prepare yourself, or what can you do to handle it so that you don't go off like Mount Vesuvius? Or how do you work together as a team and keep a relationship and bond? That wasn't a clear question. Anyone else that wants to comment on that too? Like, what can you do as a parent? Like, because right now we're before Halloween, and we have our cool right now. Like, what are yeah.
I think that if you have your child and it's coming up to Halloween, you already know that they're going to have food hoarding. So hopefully you've already established this routine of doing regular room checks. And so you should continue to do that in their hiding spaces that you know. And I always recommend that if you see that the food is being hoarded, if it's being hoarded in a cleaner way and it's not disgusting and melting into the carpet, let it stay because it makes them feel safe. Just, clean with them. Don't make it a big deal.
Miranda she says, we tell them we don't care when they eat it as long as they didn't steal it and they put it in the trash after. That's pretty calm. Yeah, like, I think
Felicia said, I'm super picky about cleanliness, so I defer that topic to my husband, and I don't want to see it. I don't want to know about it. It's just he has to go into the room and help them get it cleaned up for the sake of our relationship.
That's awesome. Honey, you're going to have to go in for king and country.
Dusty says, so with teens, it is their space. If they want to live in filth, so be it. However, we are preempting that because we are going to foster a puppy. So they are picking everything up to prep for that. Now, normally, though, we have dogs and cats, so they are so aware of hurting the animals with toxic food that they are good with keeping things up.
That's pretty interesting. I wonder if an animal is good. But I don't know, do all kids respond that way to animals? Because I would think that would be a good way, because a lot of kids would be empathetic toward an animal and not want to hurt the animal. Although that some kids aren't. Some kids like to hurt the animals. So, huh. Yeah, and I think so. So we had that experience where we had to do room checks, and probably should be doing it more often, to be honest. But I think as a first-time foster dad, I think I always thought I was going to be the dad that let their teens have their room and do whatever they wanted. And now that we've had to deal with certain more severe behaviors, I think, with kiddos we've had in our house, I think I'm very much okay with room checks, with the idea that I'm keeping you safe and I'm not sure you really understand how to keep yourself safe. And selfishly, this is my house and I want to make sure that you're not doing anything to totally like kick the rest of us out of our house because you're like, all of a sudden I go in there and there's a big hole in the wall and you didn't tell me. You covered it up with duct tape, which has happened before. So, not all the way to the outside, but the drywall was gone. So, but I don't know. I think I'm okay with room checks now. Like, I think that it's just like, I think it's almost like I think it's like a trust thing. I think like, I think the kids are building trust when they first come to our house, like with us, and I think I'm building trust with them. And I think I'm okay with laying the ground rule of, hey, we're going to be doing room checks like once or twice a month. Just to make sure that everything's safe and you're safe and we're all good. I don't know. What does everyone else think about that? About doing room checks for food or anything else like that with hoarding? What do you think?
Well, Dusty says rooms are outside of my scope of battles. I have to let them do what they want in their rooms because it is private space. However, I can come in anytime I want, and that is understood, but I rarely do, but enough to let them know I am serious. Yeah. I think it depends. You know, we've had to kind of get into, we had some serious stealing, not with kiddos that are here now, but serious stealing issues in the past. So we're not just talking food hoarding, but hoarding of other people's belongings, that caused us to have to do regular room checks. So then it wasn't so much of a privacy. It's like you've now taken everybody else's private stuff and placed it into your room. So that, anyways.
Yeah. So let's kind of switch gears here. If no one else has anything else on, because I feel like we're kind of flogging the whole hoarding and food issue thing to death. Maybe not. If you guys still have questions or suggestions on it, I still really would love to hear it. I could actually talk about this till the cows come home, and I have more disgusting stories I could probably share. What do you guys, we've talked about this before a little bit. What are some really cool traditions that people do for this time of year to like that? Because I think one thing too, like around this time of year, is coming up with cool traditions that include like that your family maybe doesn't do normally, and you're trying to include your foster or adoptive kiddos in it by coming up with new traditions. Like, what are some cool traditions? And Patty, do you have any? Maybe not.
Yeah, so I started doing this when I got married, that we do Christmas on Christmas Eve instead of Christmas Day. And that way on Christmas Day, we can just sleep all day and not have to change out of our pajamas.
Ooh, see, that's a good one. I like that. We just did one of our traditions tonight for Halloween. Every year we watch The Great Pumpkin. We usually, like, it's usually like a must that we have to watch it. When is it? Like, is it ABC? It's ABC that airs it usually, right? Like, we have to watch it when, and those of you that aren't from America, ABC, one of our national networks, when they air it every year, we have to watch that one. We can't just like watch the DVD. So we didn't make it this year. We watched it on iTunes, but what are you gonna do? It was still fun.
Yeah. For Halloween, I'll always watch Hocus Pocus and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, that's become a new favorite of ours. Is all of those, but Nightmare Before Christmas. Our youngest is really into it. And so like we've had like the whole like album like soundtrack playing like I don't know how much, like all month long, I think. So that's really cool. Margie actually has, I think we talked about it last week, but tell people about your tradition, post Halloween tradition that we haven't done for some years, but we used to do it with the turkey.
Yeah, it's vague. So we made like a turkey, and each feather was the days of November counting down to Thanksgiving, and so
it's like it was like a little turkey made out of construction paper, and you had like little feathers in the back, and all you saw were feathers, but you saw numbers at the top, and so the kids could pick that day like an advent calendar, and then when they picked the feather out, it had clues on the bottom of the feather of where we hid their candy for dessert. Like we hid it somewhere in the house. And so
we used the Halloween candy for the countdown to Thanksgiving.
Right. And that made it easier, so they didn't want to like chow down on the whole like pile of candy, like because they wanted to keep doing that like every day. Like they wanted to save a little bit of candy for the next day. And so and then they were okay with they were just okay with like a few pieces of candy, because they had to like half the fun of it was searching in the house to see where it was at. So hey Tina, glad you're on here. Haven't talked to you in a while.
So Miranda said, I wish I could be more relaxed with rooms like Dusty. We have a poop problem though.
Oh no.
Felicia said we had a kid who in his prior home literally dug through the wall into the next bedroom because the door was locked and he wanted in that room. So that was kind of back to what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
So Miranda said her husband really wants to do a countdown to Thanksgiving turkey now. It's his favorite holiday.
It's fun especially if you have smaller kids. It's just fun because you can hide the candy anywhere, and it just becomes like a fun, like they look for it for a while, and then you just start to do like the hot cold game, and it's just really, I don't know, it's entertaining because sometimes even the older kid, like the younger kids are actually better at it than the older kids, and it's just really entertaining. And I think it's entertaining too because a lot of our kids have never played games like that or had fun like that, and so they I don't know how else to say it. They really suck at it. Like they haven't played hide and seek or anything like that, and so they're just like they play it for 3 seconds. They're like, I don't know where it's at. Like, and you're like, well, you gotta keep looking. I don't know, it's nowhere. And you're like, well, you're cold right now. What? I'm what? I'm not cold. And you're just like, okay, let's explain the hot and cold game now. Like, I think it's just like I don't know. It helps you to have fun with them and bond with them and like show them that adults like to have fun too. So, yay! Felicia says that they typically watch The Great Pumpkin, play board games, carve pumpkins, play the board. Oh, the Great Pumpkin board game, right? Carve pumpkins, and the weekend before Halloween, we do a party for the kids and their friends, except for this year. I've been in a low, and the only thing we've accomplished this year is ensuring costumes are ready. Hey, you know what? I think that's probably better than what we've done because we barely made the costumes. Our costume was, we went to Walmart in Orlando, and our kiddo wanted to be Darth Vader, so we literally got one of the souvenir like t-shirts that like look like the body of Darth Vader, and it has a cape on the back, and we're like, hey, does this work? And he's like, yeah. And we're like, good, because I don't know what else to do. So
and we got a mask
from Party City, so done. And that's okay. What are you doing for Halloween, Patty? Are you gonna dress up?
Probably not. Probably just be handing out candy.
This is a good thing. I think we're going to try.
If I don't eat it all before then.
We've heard that like our neighborhood really goes through the candy, so I think we're going to try to be out in the neighborhood being given candy, as opposed to like having to take stock in candy and like give it out. So we'll see.
Last year we only had 5 trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah. So this year we just made little goodie bags. So who knows what's going to happen this year?
That's insane. Felicia says She says, "Oh my goodness, Patty, I've already dug into the candy that we're supposed to leave out for the trick-or-treaters."
Yeah, we bought like a 5 pound bag of like Tootsie, like assorted Tootsie stuff, and I think there might only be like 20 pieces left in like 4 days.
That's awesome.
No, it's not.
Or like flavored Tootsie. Those things are good.
They're so good, and you can only buy them at Halloween.
Oh, okay. So Miranda has kind of a fun, so off topic, but on traditions, we celebrate Christmas Adam. It's the day before Christmas Eve because Adam came before Eve. My husband made it up as a kid, and it became a big family tradition for the whole family. On Christmas Adam, we eat spaghetti, and it started because his mom made a fast dinner of spaghetti every year before we went Christmas shopping that night. Before she went Christmas shopping that night. And I think that's fun. I think that's how the fun traditions are started because your family has a thing with the traditional Christmas ribs.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to tell them about that?
So, my grandmother, like, she was always cooking for an army because there's a huge family, and so she, one year, like, got scared that there wasn't gonna be enough meat, and so she decided to make ribs, and everyone teased her about the traditional Christmas ribs, and then it actually became the traditional Christmas ribs, along with the turkey and ham and masticholi and all the other crazy stuff. So.
I think that's the best tradition. So I think it's just when you have fun and you just like make up stuff. And you know, I think someday I would love to make a book of like different strange traditions that I hear, so that people could just have. Because I think the hard part as parents is we hear this stuff as foster parents or adoptive parents, like yeah, we should make up, and then you're like, what do we make up? Like I don't know what to make up. But so whoops. Miranda said that the Christmas rib. Her husband says the Christmas ribs sound way better. They are. I'm not gonna lie, they are really good.
She makes really good ribs, and I don't like turkey, like so the ribs were always a fave.
No, are you kidding? I like the Christmas spaghetti. She was saying we sound cheap now. No way. I like the spaghetti. I would take the spaghetti any day. I think it's the.
We do lasagna. Yeah.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, and in the tradition, it's about the fun and the together. It's never about the money. Like you can have like the cheapest tradition, and it's all about like how you can. Like I know, like I shared this last week, but one of the traditions that my family did do before we had kids, and my sister and my in-law had kids, we would get together and we would open up like when we were at a gathering, we would open up each other's Christmas presents. And you were just given a random present and you could see who it was for, and you had to open up the present and pretend to react. Like you weren't allowed to show off the present, you just unwrapped it and looked at it, and then you had to start reacting the way you thought the person that actually it was for was going to react. And so everyone had to figure out what the present was and who it was for, based on your reaction and how you were acting. And we just started doing it. Like, we were just a bunch of us just goofing off because someone handed them the wrong present. And we just goofed off, and then it became a thing. And it was just the best tradition.
So Felicia says, we have totally altered Elf on the Shelf. We have Randall the reindeer who reports to Rudolph so that Santa knows, no, this is where kiddos are when they've been moved around so much throughout the year. That's a neat idea.
Okay.
They also have random elves who do things, and the messier the things are, and the angrier I act about it, the more the kids believe it.
I like that. That's interesting. Where did you think of that all by yourself? Seriously, I want to I'm going to steal all of your traditions and put them in a book and put my name on it. I am weird. I'm never going to do it. But no, I like that tradition. That sounds like a lot of fun. I wish I would have known about that now. Like, I totally would have done Randall the reindeer. That's so much fun. Patty, have you heard of any traditions that sound like in your years of therapy and things with kids? Have you heard of anything interesting?
Well, this year I've had a lot of clients who celebrate Day of the Dead.
Really?
And I've never really encountered that before. So all I know about it is from what Coco told me. So then I had to go research it. So I am now participating in Day of the Dead this year.
Wow.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I've had other kids that were, when they were in foster care, they would celebrate Christmas, and they were adopted by a Jewish family. So they no longer got to celebrate Christmas. So that was interesting to explain Hanukkah to them because they were like 4 and 6.
Oh, wow.
And they're like,
Yeah.
what happened to Santa?
Yeah. It's I see that more than anything.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So so what would you suggest? Because I mean, we talked about this a little bit too, like when you have kiddos that are coming into your home and they've come from a different religious or socioeconomic background than you. Like what would you suggest is the best way to handle that?
I mean, we have to be sensitive to what their culture and life experiences are. So if they participated in, Christmas and then they are now with a Jewish family, I understand not participating in Christmas. However, you can still have a Christmas tree.
Right.
You can still hang up Christmas lights. You can call them menorah lights. Like you can, instead of having ornaments, I've made memory balls. Like you take the pictures and put them in the clear balls of all the fun that you've had together and you hang them on the tree and then you talk about it. So, I mean, there's other ways to incorporate it to where you're able to practice the faith that you have and the holidays that you want to celebrate while still honoring what they have experienced and want to participate in.
Fantastic. Well, you guys, we are running low on time right now. So I know that there's a bit of a lag. Can you guys? I would love for everyone. First off, can you hit the love button? If you can just kind of like that'd be the applause for having Patty on here with us tonight. Patty is again, she knows this stuff inside and out. But I will brag on her. She's also one of our Elf Squad members, which you guys that don't know who our Elf Squad are. Our Elf Squad are folks that are trying to help foster and adoptive parents by listening to your needs and your concerns. And they have groups, local chapters all over the nation, and they're doing different projects trying to help foster and adoptive families. So she has just taken up the one in Tampa. So she is fantastic. She's a wonderful resource, and I'm glad that she's able to join us tonight. We are going to be, okay, something just went weird with my computer. Sorry, guys. I hope everyone's still on here.
Yeah, everything's good.
Oh, they are? Okay, my computer just wigged out, I guess. Okay, sorry about that, guys. We are going to be here again next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, as we're winding down, this is the time. If you guys have suggestions about what you want us to talk about for next week, or you have issues or concerns or advice or whatever that you want us to tackle for next week, I would love for you guys to mention that now. We will, in November, be having Carrie Goldman. If you guys want to check out her webpage, search for Carrie Goldman. She lives in Illinois. She is an author. She's published at least a couple of books for middle schoolers called Jazzy's Quest. And it's about a girl named Jazzy that she's adopted. And the books are wonderful. You can check out our website to see our reviews on them. That they're great stories that are written as great stories, and the main character happens to be adopted, and it kind of normalizes where our kids are at. She'll be here in November, so be thinking about questions for that. But let us know any questions that you have, or if you have any questions for Patty before we have to let her go. Yeah, let us know. Is there anything that I need to be mentioning to people before we head out?
Not that I can think of. Kind of wrapping up a little bit what you were talking about with different holidays. Felicia said they have done Day of the Dead for years, but they also do little holidays like Chinese New Year, Mardi Gras. We also do bits of Hanukkah for awareness. We have friends who celebrate Kwanzaa, so we do a little bit of everything because we feel like our kids need to know what their friends are doing and understand it.
I will tell everyone one thing that I do want to mention is we will, starting November 1st, we are going to be announcing the finalists of the Chris Rankin Award for Best Adoptive Parent in 2018. We're going to be announcing the finalists, and those finalists are going to be paired up with some fantastic celebrities. Chris Rankin, who played Percy Weasley in the Harry Potter films, also Stan Yaneski. Sorry, Stan. Seriously, dude, you're gonna have to straighten me out with your last name because I can never get it right. Yeah. But we're going to be doing that, and we also have Anne Heffron, who is an author that is going to be paired up with our finalists, and we're going to be asking for you, the public, to vote for November to help us figure out who should be the best adoptive parent. So please join us with that. I'm going to put the link on this conversation. So is there something you need?
No.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Patty, thank you so much for coming on here and taking the time out.
Thanks for inviting me.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, you guys. We hope we're helping you to nurture and grow your foster adoptive family. We will see you next week. Bye, everyone.